Morning world, it's the 31st of January 2020. It's about 9:30 in the morning UK time, So this is my take on the current global situation around viruses from an astrological perspective. I will be doing a global forecast for February, but I'll be doing it later today, about 8 hours from now. So with viruses, astrologically, the obvious connection here is with the planet Neptune. Now, Neptune deals with imagination, intuition, spirituality. It is your relationship with the divine, however you choose to experience the divine as being. Neptune also deals with the aesthetic, the subtle, the refined, the elegant, the imaginal. It deals with dance and art and music and theatre and film and photography and everything that has an element of the etheric and the spiritual about it. It is about fairies and pixies and dreams. Neptune is also around illusion and addiction, escapism, avoidance, the nebulousness of life. Neptune dissolves everything it touches, and if you need evidence of that, just look at those people born in Pisces before the 9th of March over this last 6 or 7 years and ask any of them, have they been through a year of fatigue, weariness and dissolving? And almost all of them are going to be saying absolutely. Neptune does bring an element of weariness and confusion, nebulousness and fatigue. Neptune also seems to have, from an astrological perspective, and you won't find this in textbooks, but I'm seeing it after having been doing astrological readings now for over 40 years. I know, can't prove it, but I know that Neptune is the single most common astrological denominator in two specific areas related to health. One is the glandular system, the endocrine, lymphatic, the adrenal, and particularly the thyroid. The other is the dealing with the parts of the body that deal with the mucus and the mucous membranes. A difficult Neptune in the chart shows someone who may wear glasses from an early age because the eyes aren't that good, or someone who's prone to getting asthma, or who's prone to getting a blocked up chest. Certainly people with a strong Neptune should not be drinking lots of milk from an early age because it will block them up. Neptune deals with the invisible poisons, of which viruses is the most common example. I've seen a number of cases where people going through difficult Neptune transits have been laid low by irrational or unexplainable, undiagnosable illnesses, which after a period of time, sometimes as long as a year, seem to have gone. Doctors normally mumble and prescribe something like stress or fibromyalgia or ME or something like that, something unqualifiable or unquantifiable. Neptune deals with the poisons. In this last 2 weeks, since the emergence of the coronavirus big time, we've been going through and still are going through a strong square from Mars in Sagittarius to Neptune in Pisces. Neptune being in its own sign at the moment, has been for the last 7 or 8 years, will be for the foreseeable future. Mars has only just completed exact square to Neptune yesterday or the day before. It is still within range for another few days, another week. So this is going to continue dominating the news in the short term. But the thing is, this isn't something which is just going to fade away. In the past, I've always been a little concerned around the possibility of some type of extinction event. Now, extinction events on planet can come through major geophysical trauma, such as a supervolcano or a massive earthquake, tsunamis. An extinction event can come through a solar flare, which wipes out all the satellites, all the phones, all the technology, and reduces us in a stroke back to where we were pre-World War II. An extinction event can also be a pandemic. Now, I don't think we're at pandemic levels yet. But, further on down the line, there's a pandemic coming. It's inevitable. If we look back over history, we have a life cycle. We have cycles of pandemics. And every so often, nature culls those who are less resistant to the pathogens and the toxins and the viruses. Sometimes it's pretty extreme, as in the great flu virus of just post World War One. I don't think we're quite at that level right now, but a lot depends on what happens in the next few weeks. If I'm looking particularly at this current virus that's seemingly going around the world now, on the surface, it seems as if the Chinese authorities have done a really good job in containing it. It also seems that the virus is primarily affecting those people in the second half of life, born from 40, 45 years old onwards, and those the people who are dying seem to be those with already existing medical conditions. But the nature of viruses is that they contaminate and infect the weak, the genetically and the physically weak. Thing is, I think, from my astrological perspective, that what we're seeing at the moment is only the starting gun. I don't think this is going to go away. And my reason for saying this is that in about 5 to 6 weeks' time from now, around the 8th, 9th, 10th of March, depending on where you are on the planet, there is a full moon at 19 degrees of Virgo. The moon will be at 19 Virgo, the sun will be at 19 Pisces, and at that moment of full moon, Neptune will be at 19 Pisces. The sun and the moon will be about 1/9, 1/10 of 1 degree, exactly conjunct from Neptune. So I can't help but assume that in the medium term, this virus thing is not going to go away, and it's only going to get stronger. And I do expect a kind of peak of intensity around it around the start of March. And hopefully by mid-March onwards, we will all be recovering from it and it will be starting to fade from the immediate consciousness. But that is still 6-7 weeks away yet. I have very little faith in normal allopathic chemical medicine. I'm fine with the great scientific discoveries and the wonderful research that's going on at various different levels. But I do believe personally that many medical practitioners are basically just in the pay of the drug companies, and I don't have faith in chemical medicines. However, that's my personal choice. If you choose to take some type of vaccine, anti-flu virus, anti-flu jabs or whatever, then fine, that was what works for you. In the meantime, I've got a really good homeopath. I saw a wonderful article yesterday on how homeopathy actually is not panicking about the virus at all. It's well prepared, and there's a number of homeopathic remedies that are exactly right for this. However, homeopathy is a very controversial subject. It's got to work for you, and a lot of it is what goes on up here. So I'm trusting in my homeopathic solutions. I'm also quadrupling the amount of ginger and garlic that I'm eating. And at the end of the day, well, I draw comfort from two things. Firstly, a positive mental attitude never harms anyone. And the more you kind of smile and your way through this, then it does give you a better chance of defeating the doom and gloom and thus attracting an energy of negativity towards you. And secondly, I don't do death anyway. I just do a transition of consciousness. So, well, when your time's up, your time's up. But well, okay, stepping back from the more cosmic or the more edgy stuff, from an astrological perspective, that full moon on the 9th, 10th of March, depending on where you are in the world, is going to act as some type of peak point in this virus thing that's going on. And it's a massive wake-up call to the planet saying, come on, stop. It's a massive wake-up call to the Chinese authorities saying, for God's sake, regulate your food markets. You know, this virus started in apparently a sloppy, unhygienic food market where raw flesh was exposed to the open air for a long period of time and mixed with vegetables and live animals. And this type of thing is just an accident waiting to happen. I don't want to get on my high horse. I've been vegetarian over 40 years. But the idea of ingesting raw meat in this day and age, unless you know it's 100% organic, is just like silly. Why would you do that? Let's see where we stand by mid-March. But I'm pretty sure that by that time we should all be in a state of less worry, at least for the medium term. Catch you later, world. Bye.